Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection!
Yes.
I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy!
About that.
Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right?
Yes.
Ugh! Yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Because you're jealous of her boobs. Man, Genocide Jack is seriously scary. But still, I can't let her get to me. Oh dear.
I know which one is which. But let's listen to the whole story.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
Okay, seriously, trying to just get this one.
But remember what the note said.
There, fuck.
What time
Was
did
it worth
say
it?
to meet?
It was worth it, 100%.
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
Note, the time on the note said 6 a.m. What happened at 6 a.m.? That's what I need to clear up.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember, what time did it? 6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
Oh, fucking hell. Fucking hell. Please don't yell. It's like, I love this, like, please don't yell. Alright.
Who, me?
The silencer saw like the thing. Like, please don't yell.
Then the person it was must have been Huffy!
But remember, what time did it? 6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
Okay, seriously? Fuck.
There we go.
God damn it!
No, there absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. You've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right? Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
Yep.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
I love her.
Then someone used that note to trick Taka, just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster, telling people they found
Gee, I wonder who it could be.
I wonder.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely, Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
Okay, Chicken Man, you need to step the fuck up before I make you fried.
There it is.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Dun,
I
dun,
never would have guessed.
Really?
Hifumi had the note meant
Yeah.
for Taka,
Yeah.
while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly, which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, He was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive.
Nah, he fucking dead.
He's fucking dead, bro. Even I'll confirm that. He's fucking dead, bro.
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
Not
He
really.
was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
It's not a big brain, but the brain works.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
Tuh.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue. So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Nope.
Then,
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
Bryan, are you getting it?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
The weapon that was actually used to kill Hifumi. The whole picture surrounding this case won't become clear until we figure that out. Somehow I have to find the truth.
This game makes me feel smart. Good.
What was used to kill Hifumi?
That's one right there.
Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more.
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder
have
weapon
to see if
has
that's
to
a
be
real
one of the
thing.
Justice Hammers.
No, that's wrong.
I just wanted to get it. It's at the end of the conversation anyway.
The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
Are you looking it up and seeing if it's the real thing?
There is a site called murdergear.bigcartel.com.
Oh god, no! Please get off that! Get off! Get off! Get off! Oh my god, that's hilarious.
But seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has
Some of y'all are asking for it.
hammers. Big ones, small ones,
Some as big as your head.
Oh my god.
and even some flat mallet-like
Give him a
ones.
twist, a flick of the wrist, that's what the show is it.
I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi
Guys, it's a
moved
merch
Taka's
store.
body
Calm
to the
down.
repository where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him. Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least that's what we thought at first. But
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
can we really say there's no chance two people work together on this?
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit, only the one who actually carried out the act can, assuming the rule holds true.
No, that's wrong. Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Yes.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
Hey chat, chill out. Thanks.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
the effort made to convince us that 2 murders were the same? That was a main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning. Which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing. Although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is. It's almost like she does have an ultimate ability or something.
Maybe. Possibly.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved. But then, who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now.
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions, and in the end, murdered him. In the debates up until now, the way the case has unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seems to fit. Debbie, if you would.
Yet.
Here's my answer. It was Celeste.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I?
You've been pretty defensive this entire
really do
trial.
hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi.
I mean,
Yeah?
The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless goddamn idiot!
Yes!
Pardonnez-moi.
uh-oh.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the 2 of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the 2 of you were working together.
Bing!
I got it!
Okay.
The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
Wait.
That's so loud! Oh my god! But...
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
yeah, total lie.
We headed to the 2nd floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the 3rd floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Another bullshit lie.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
It was to get us to divide into 2 groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Then why don't we split into 2 groups?
I lead the hunting party. That sounds much more interesting. Yes.
Very well. Then Makoto and Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office. I will leave the capture of the suspicious individual to Toko, Byakuya, and Sakura.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on.
You call that piercing?
Was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the 3rd floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
That didn't really sound that loud.
It sounded
But
very
whatever.
weak. Whatever.
Yeah.
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
In the nurse's office with the fridge full of blood.
you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with
Oh,
Celeste when
wait.
Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I was.
I just
feeling
figured something out.
homesick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait. Then that was.
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
I'm curious what you figured out, Bryan, but whatever.
Want me to text it to you?
Yes. They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die, just like those guys died.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed, so Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the 4 of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Byakuya said that Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. But what is he alluding to?
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it?
What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
I pressed the wrong button. No,
I mean, did you get the right one or no?
I got it.
Okay. When she said that, she should only have known about Hifumi's death. With that in mind, what's so strange about what she said was...
Detectives, all of you.
Said was they must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are all going to die. We are going to die.
Just like... No, that's wrong.
Got it. Linguistics, aren't they great?
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.